So are there any questions? Any questions? My word, stunned silence. Oh, no, one at the back. I think there's a mic coming down.
In terms of participation rate in the customer feedback, what kind of benchmarks would you set as being achievable?
When you say customer feedback, do you mean levels of availability on the journeys in the site, or do you mean?
No, I'm just getting at what proportion of your customers are actually giving you feedback to allow you to collect these metrics.
This runs alongside customer journeys, so they don't sign up for this service. This is something that runs constantly every 5 minutes. So each of those journeys we run every 5 minutes, and when there's a problem, they up to one, every minute, so that you get real-time information. So I can't answer that directly.
Like a mystery shopper, our software goes to the store and does some shopping. So it's not a real customer, but it's able to say, this is what it was like for me. So every 5 minutes we're sampling each of those journeys.
It doesn't replace the customer feedback and satisfaction that you might use. I think we online we use something called 4C, and then we use a firm called Numwood to kind of talk to customers, and those things still work alongside it. So it doesn't replace them. It enables us to have that real-time view.
And have you found good correlation between those other forms of customer feedback and the data that you have here?
Yes, well, we do and we don't. So actually, sometimes it works very neatly, and you can say people have got a bit dissatisfied with the way that our delivery offering looks, and actually when you look at the data that you get out of SciVisum, you can see that actually that page has got a little bit slower. So when they said they were dissatisfied, they couldn't see the slot that they wanted because we weren't quick enough at rendering. So we do see that. Sometimes, no, that's just the truth.
As Chris says, you need a lot of teams. You've got some usability guys, and they'll be worried about where do we put the button and what colour and what's the workflow. You've got to do that work as well. There's no easy solutions here.
Another guy at the back.
Hi. I guess there must be other sort of tools or services that do this kind of thing. What in particular was instrumental in making you decide on SciVisum as the one? I mean, I've seen similar dashboards in other retailers. What were there any things in particular that made you think, apart from pricing?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I mean, one of the first things was price, but it was very much about value for money, I think, and that. So, because I mean, I've now been working with Deri and SciVisum, I think, for about 5 or 6 years. So I'm not going to lie to you. It was price that got them in the door. Because the dashboards are very similar. And actually what I've seen over the years is a couple of things. One, they've worked with me to help me develop my customer experience. So actually that plasma screen view, one of the reasons I'm proud of it is because John and I asked them to do it, because we wanted to hang it up on a screen, and the graph view didn't really work and it didn't auto refresh. We said this is what we're trying to do, and the guys went away and did it. And even now, I think it was about 4 weeks ago, the concept of business hours is actually now embedded in the data. So instead of measuring over 24 hours, we measure, you can set your own business hours, and actually for us that's 6 a.m. to midnight, because between midnight and 6 we just don't have as many customers on the shop, and they've constantly done that, and they deliver, they deliver quickly. And actually when I do have a problem, the techies there will help me out. They'll ask me questions, and that I suppose it feels like more of a partnership. And I mean, because I've spoken to and worked with a number of other providers in this space, so I won't name because I don't want to do them down. But actually, they just didn't offer that level of that kind of the after-sales service. So in terms of our shopping trip, they make things work and keep them working, and they deal with queries and complaints brilliantly. They just don't hit those at all. And the final point is that as a rule, I don't have to train people to use the user interface, and that's certainly not true across all the dashboards, because they try and do everything, and they've lost sight of the thing that they sold in the first place as this is what we do it well, it's really simple to find it.
What a great answer, Chris. Thank you for that. Gosh, 10 afterwards, mate.
No, but it is the truth.
I don't know if you're an engineer, but as an engineer, the answer is some technical USPs. I talked about the dynamic user journey. A lot of people, if you ask your company, somebody will say, oh, we do website monitoring. And what they'll be doing is they'll be hitting a few URLs. So that's we hit the homepage, and then we hit this URL, which we know is the page that searches for Audis. And then we hit this page, which we know is the page for small Audis. And the problem with that is it's not looking in the page and following the page. So for a find a car journey, we say go to the home page, and pull out of the page the list of brands that are offered. Choose one of those. So if you drop a brand tomorrow, we won't be following it anymore. We'll only follow what you offer. When we do a search, we choose at random from what your site is offering right now. We're not always buying the same pair of shoes, because clearly they're not always in stock, they're not always available. And that can get quite complicated. If you've got some of our clients, for example, clothes, you can buy a size and a colour of that item. Sometimes you can choose it from the matrix and buy it. Sometimes you choose the colour from a combo, choose the size, click buy, and it comes back and says, sorry, we don't have that one, try again. So our journey has to go back. Well, let's try another size and a different colour, and sorry, not in stock. It's not great for your users, but our technology can do what a user does, which is it goes back and try another colour. So to make your journeys do what the user does is often really pretty complicated. And so that will be a technical USB, is that don't stop with the stuff that we can or we can get this far and then it's too tricky. You've got to do the whole thing the customer does. Last question?
No, I think people are done. It's warm in here.
If you want to give us some feedback afterwards.
Because it is a gift.
We've got a video camera. The guys will be outside the wall there. Your 30 seconds of fame. You liked it, you hated it, whatever. They'll be right after to give us some feedback.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.